Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 6 of my 25 days of Christmas. And today we're going to be creating a sort of little storybook is what I'm going to be calling it. And it was inspired by these pieces of scraps that I had left over from one of my Paper Boutique kits. They were all the same size, so you can adjust the measurements if you've got scraps already, but this is the size that I created. And here's a little mock-up that I did beforehand, so you can kind of see what we are creating here. So for this, we're going to need two lengths, which are going to be the same. So you need to cut 4 3/4 by the length of an A4 sheet of paper. So you will need 2 sheets to create that, and that's going to be the main kind of book itself. And I will leave this in the description box down below, so you can go ahead and create this yourself if you want to do it the same size as me. So yeah, you need 2 pieces, which is 4 3/4 by the length of an A4 sheet. And then to have the flaps, I created 2 flaps to go on the inside. So that was 3 1/4 inch by 8 inches. Now, when it comes to scoring, basically you want to score 3 3/4 inches. Now, again, that's based on the patterned paper that I had. So for this, I literally just scored at 3 3/4, and then I moved that score mark to right up to the edge and then did that again. So I ended up with this piece here. So I scored 3 times to create 3 panels, and then the piece I had left over was a small tab. So hopefully you can see what I've done here. Again, I've just measured 3 3/4 inches, scored, and then put that score line right up against the edge of my scoring tool. And then, yeah, like I said, I've done that, and it's then created a small flap right at the end, which is going to be the flap to connect these 2 pieces together. So just 3 simple score marks on this first piece. So I'm just lining it up, finishing all of my folds. You want to make sure that this does come together really nicely so that you can make sure that this all sort of lines up together. Then for the second piece, this is going to create the outside. I'm doing the same thing again. So 3 3/4 inches, then moving it, doing 3 3/4 inches again. Then I'm going to do 4 inches, and that's going to create us a small, this is quite a bulky book. This is going to create us then a small little like edge, if you like, which is then going to contain all of this storybook. Hopefully that makes sense. So for the first piece, again, you're scoring 3 times at 3 3/4 inches. For this one, you're scoring twice at 3 3/4 inches and then at 4 inches to make our spine. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, just to create a 1/4 inch spine. And then I'm going to add glue onto my flap from the first piece, and then I'm just going to glue it underneath. So this is going to be, sorry, on the inside of our project. Glue it together, and that is then the gist of our book. So I'm folding this, again, just sort of wrapping it inside the book, and what you should have then is a back cover where you are kind of folding it all into, that you can see here, and then you'll have a front cover as well, which will open up, and then you've got, yeah, that little spine there, which is going to allow you to bulk this up a little bit. So hopefully that made sense for you guys. Again, I'll leave the measurements in the description box down below for you, and maybe just a little explanation if that does help. So you can see how this is looking here. So like I said, you've got kind of the flap where it opens, and then you have the piece that actually comes out fully. So I'm just making some minor kind of adjustments if it's not 100% in terms of how maybe I've cut it. We've got some bits and pieces that are kind of overhanging. You can just literally trim that down really easily. And that is then the basis of the actual kind of storybook itself. And then you can add pockets and turn these into like little mini albums. That was kind of where this started, to be honest, but I decided to do something a little bit different. But I did add 2 flaps into this. So the flaps themselves, like I said, is 3 1/4 inches by 8 inches. And then I'm literally just going to score this in half at 4 inches. And I'm going to have 2 of these. We're going to have one on each side. And it's just something a little bit extra. For the decoration itself, I did try to use just pieces that were in the kit. I found it a little bit difficult, I'll be honest. Obviously, this kit isn't really designed for that, and I had to get a little bit creative. So I did bring in some of the toppers that I had left over from the countdown to Christmas, and I showed you that where we created a few more cards in one of the videos for Christmas. And yeah, I said, oh, we had all these pieces left over. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. So I did incorporate a few of those into here. I did struggle a little bit, again, sort of cutting everything out and trying to have kind of turn the pieces into toppers and things like that. But overall, I'm really happy with how this did turn out. Again, it's something just a little bit different. So the patterned paper I use just for the backing, and you can see then I'm just adding those flaps in, and I am decorating literally every side of this, but one of them is going to remain plain with just the patterned paper because that's going to be the back, and then the front we are going to decorate up as well. So I only on camera decorate one side because it did take me a little while. I only decorated the one side of this, but once I've sort of shown all of that footage, I do just on a real time. I'm gonna show you and walk you all the way through the book so you can see both sides, and I'll just read the bits that I put in there. But I thought this was such a lovely idea. If you want to create something for someone in your family, if you want to create something that you can read, maybe you might have items, a paper kit or a stamp set that might be a little bit more appropriate for you to be able to create a proper story here. But yeah, I just kind of used what I had. It's not really a story, but like each page is its own like little bit with whatever the toppers and the decoration really is. And then for the flat pieces, that was the only part where I really brought in some of the coloured cardstock as well, just to decorate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play some music for you guys. So I have like super sped this up so it's not massively long. I'm going to play a little bit of music whilst I decorate this, and then I'll come back when I've finished the whole thing, and again I can do that little walkthrough. walkthrough of the whole book. So this came together really nicely. I'm really happy with how it looks. It is very bulky. I added some quite thick foam tape in this, and I did that on purpose because I really wanted to have it to be really nice and big and bulky. What you could do to help it kind of handle it a little bit better is create a thicker spine on it so that cover goes around without kind of bending too much. But I'm really happy with how it is, and I've just fastened this close with some gold little twine that you can see here, and I've wrapped it around a few times and then just literally tied it in a bow. So we've got our front cover with a little rabbit there with the presents. On the inside we have got our reindeer, and then it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Lights are starting to be hung all around. Presents are being wrapped with labels and bows. And on the inside, wine is being mulled, chocolate is being heated, chestnuts are roasting, bells are ringing, temperature is dropping, fridges are filling, stockings are hanging, snow is falling, decorations are sparkling, friends and family are gathering, which I thought was really, really nice. And then on the next page, you've got the Christmas tree with those presents and that special moment when the star sits on top of the tree. Alas, it is complete. So that was the side you've seen me decorate. So now we're going to open it up the other way. And so we have playing outside with friends in the snow, and I added a little snowbank on that one. Yummy treats and sweets at Christmas time. And then we've got the little candy canes there. And then for this pull-up, we've got wrap it warm in gloves, scarves, and jumpers. And then on the inside, we have let's warm up this winter, and then let it snow please. And on the other page we have the jingle all the way. So you can see where I've mixed in the images from the paper boutique, and then where I mixed in those toppers we had left over from the countdown to Christmas. So you can mix these all together. You can open it all the way up, and again you've got quite a lot of space there again to create something personalized for somebody. Again, if you've got more kind of images that do go together to create a actual story, then you can do that on each page, and I think that's going to be really lovely. It's just something maybe that you can pull out at Christmas time as like a little story there, but again it's just something a little bit different, just for a little bit of inspiration. So I had a lot of fun creating this. Again, it was all inspired by just having some leftover cardstock that all ended up being the same size. You can turn this into a mini album, you can turn this into a little recipe book, lots of different ways that you can use a little book like this. But again, it's just something different you can create with your crafting items. And again, like I said, if you want it to lay a little flatter together, then definitely put a bigger spine on there. Just work out kind of how much bulk you want to create to see how wide of a spine you want. You might need to add an additional piece of cardstock in there maybe just to handle for the size of the spine, but yeah, you can make obviously adjustments. And then to put it back together, I just wrapped the twine around it. So I think it was probably like 4 or 5 times, and then yeah, literally just tying a bow. You've all seen me try to tie a bow in the past. I can tie my shoelaces absolutely fine, but when it comes to tying bows, yeah, for whatever reason, I just am not very good at it. But so that's again a little bit of inspiration, creating something. Again, turn this into a mini album. If you've got a few photos from an occasion and you want to create something, a little keepsake, this is going to be absolutely perfect. So that's it for this video and day number 6 of my 25 days of Christmas. Again, I'll leave the measurements and things in the description box down below. Don't forget to join me tomorrow for day number 7 of my 25 days of Christmas. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks very much for watching, and Merry Christmas.